Live.
Are we live?
We're live.
We're live on
And alive.
on location. We would do a little let's get to know one of the streamers, being me, by grilling my parents about how I ended up this way. What was it, Kelsey, that you said? Good looking?
Like
okay. So what do you think? You good looking or smart from you?
Oh, that's tough. I
Well,
have
the
a bit of
looks,
both.
for sure. How did you find out you had Todd in your belly?
How did I find out? Well, it took a while because, I thought a couple of times I might have a Todd in my belly, and I didn't. So it was a librarian helper. Yeah.
Did you like it? Were you like, I wish I could get an abortion and keep this job?
I didn't ever think that, but I did like the job.
Doctor, I guess that's when I was probably told, and I was working at North Van at the time, and we would,
Because we had the one vehicle. Come home, I'd have to have dinner ready. He'd have a 15-minute sleep. Then I'd stay home, and then he'd whip off to UBC to go to school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mentioned the 15-minute nap was particularly challenging.
and you kicked and just about kicked out of my arms, and that kind of frightened me a bit.
Fair enough. Immediately, I'm like, I'm out of here.
That's right.
I don't want any of this.
Middle beside me. I forget how many children she'd had. She'd had a lot, but they all were her. This one she had when I was in there was the smallest, and it was 12 pounds.
Beneficial, maybe.
Well, that was like me, Todd. I was only 4 pounds 5 ounces when I was born, and my parents had to feed me every hour, so that's what happened.
That's how it starts.
That's how it starts.
They're just that you
That's true. I only put on about 18 pounds. I didn't even hardly look like I was pregnant.
guys any
No.
desire to
Never
see me go down a particular path?
No. I think from the beginning, all that we really wanted for you.
Because he likes to argue.
Right, because he's so good at discussing,
Yeah.
we thought he would be an excellent lawyer. We just
Yeah.
thought, where else could he go out and earn money for arguing? So, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I did consider it. I considered it even recently. You didn't like something, and then what do? You're 55, and you're like, you know.
Yes. When a lot of people are retiring.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have your turn to ask a question?
Well, you kind of just asked it. I was going to ask a point.
He
Yeah.
skipped a grade. And as far as
To be fair, though, it's only the first grade, and it's a really easy one.
Well, it was, but as I said earlier, he was reading at grade 9 level when he was in kindergarten.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I think because he picked up reading and he loved to play it, but it's an old tape. And anyway, he's reading this book, Yogi Bear and the Bubblegum Lions, and he had the cutest little lisp.
Was he more into art than
Definitely.
certain things?
Definitely. He, I don't know if he's ever picked up too many.
Yeah, I think at a certain era, everyone just got one of these clocks. Yeah.
Do you know why?
That went back to my grandparents. They had a cuckoo clock, and for
That
some,
reminded you of that?
I would think so.
That's cool.
But the real truth of why we have it is when we moved in here, the people that were here before had the same clock. And
Over a stain. Like, that's
it grows on you. We've just gotten used to it.
every time I come back and I hear it, I'm just like, ugh. And anytime I hear it anywhere else, I'm like, ugh. It's like, maybe on the hour would be okay, but like, calm yourself.
And sometimes when it's 2 o'clock, it'll give 7. So, it makes life interesting. You don't really know what time it is unless you come and look at it.
You don't need TV. That's true. And why? Why was he difficult all of a sudden?
Now that I really don't know. I mean, of course,
What was he doing that was perceived?
hate smoking. When his grandfather would come after he left, he used to run around and open all the windows and ask me to wash the drapes. And, but I mean, the boys, they were always welcome in our house, even though I didn't always time. And his gullible mother really thought, oh, that's so sweet that he's gone to be with a friend that's having a hard time. And
You hope I would maybe be.
Right.
At that period, what were you afraid I might turn out like from there?
Came home and you discussed it with me. You always, we might not always had, a nice calm discussion, but you're always pretty not going to get in trouble. I really didn't think you would. Yeah.
Well, this is my
Good
attempt
motherly
to
instincts.
my attempt to dig up dirt on myself is failing here. You guys will
I bet I know what it is. Go ahead.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so there was a time harassing my brother about, but I was harassing him about something, and I wouldn't stop. Inside the house, where we had bedrooms in the basement, so my window.
Poking and teasing, and he had a way. He could get you livid, but then he'd just skedaddle.
Who, Todd?
Yes, your father had been away for a while. He'd been away on some school board business, and we were going out for a lovely thought, Todd, you were going to bring up when you were a wee bit older and you learned a lesson about using a modem.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, but so
He chose not to listen, and he used this. Well, at that time, you got your telephone.
dialed to Vancouver. This is before the internet, people.
I don't understand
Like,
that.
this is massive nerd cred. Granted, okay.
And you had to give about half your allowance up every week.
So wait, he figured out how to use this modem?
Oh yes.
And then
Oh, yeah.
And then
Online.
They would have games. One of the, I think the first time I dialed in, there's an option to talk to the sysops. But yeah, I went to chat to the sysop, and like he literally came on and started chatting back. And this was like, again, this is before the internet. This is like at 13. He said, "Holy shit!" Like he was surprised, which I guess I'm gonna have to bleep out. I shouldn't have said that, but it's what he said, guys. It's what he said. That I was calling from that far away.
make it interesting.
And then just the immediacy and the coolness of that, of being able to like communicate with another person so far away, I admittedly got a little addicted to it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, and then he got brownie points if he,
We didn't have a whole lot of money at that time either.
yeah.
No.
Oh sure, make me sound even worse. Cool, I want more. And
That's
then
why I get you to edit videos, because I don't do that.
Yeah.
You do that.
Well, I mean, I can't remember.
of the Commodore 64, the way to get the demo is
You had to type it all in, pages and pages.
Program codes.
basically would you type this up, and you did.
Yes, but did we ever get it to work? Because
We did.
You only have to miss one little sign or symbol, and that's it, boy. And it's not like you can read like the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy.
Was it like ping pong or or what's that? What's that original
Pong.
Pong? But
Yeah.
What was the joystick game?
Flying forward and like shooting them, but it was
That was the game.
that was the game. Yeah, there'll be 2 more of those before the stream's over, guys. So you're getting the full experience of like what it's like to be in the Sullivan household.
That's right, absolutely.
When did Todd start dating? Look at him get red. This is so fun for me. When did he start dating?
I think it was Middleton was I guess I don't know if I'm supposed to say that was the last name, and she ended up going down with him.
An old friend I had, yeah.
And
Who I did like that way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It just,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Oh well.
I'm over it.
Next.
Yeah. I remember like setting up tents. I remember Mom being amazing on stilts.
it was quite a few years ago, but I got on these stilts and I walked on, and it's the only time in my life people have been amazed with me.
Is there some circus talent?
So these piddly little stilts
Holy.
were nothing.
That's huge.
I know. I wouldn't do that now.
Speaking of circus talent, though, you guys did buy me once a learn how to juggle kit.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Oh no, I was just taking a deep inhale. I had no question for you.
I do want to say something else.
Well, we had
Never
a
taught.
Pardon?
well, eventually I did, but we had an organ
Yes.
too, which is also where I was plunking out tunes.
Well, you were, but it was a small kind of, just kind of, he could play that so well. And I have particularly fond memories because he would play some songs and he would sing with me. We would sing together, and it was
Like-
so nice.
Like songs that you
Corn.
and it's a long song.
Yes.
It's like 5 or 6 pages
More.
of
I
sheet
think
music,
more than that.
and so so that I wouldn't
And coolly sits it back up.
was not calm.
How old
Rum
was
12 is
Yeah.
where my mind was.
Well, I don't think you were in junior high yet, so probably 11 maybe. Yeah. But I just,
As calm
It's
like,
really just like there are 2 options, and that is just I freeze and I do nothing, or I just get up and put it.
yeah. We have to shoot soon, and my God, we're missing a piece of equipment.
15 minutes to go, but
and
we made it.
one other note on the musical that I wanted to say is as soon as he figured out, just himself figuring the notes, we phoned my dad, his grandfather, on Vancouver Island, and he played him a song over the.
Never mind. Anyway,
And I did the drums for 3 years, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's cool. I know how to play.
We won't talk about that. Okay, so where are we going next?
But yeah, you are musically talented,
Yes,
and you can read words very nicely.
I can. Like being a good son is by acting like it.
Yeah. But did he always have a theatrical?
I'm gonna
side
say.
to him?
I'm gonna say they're gonna
I'm
say
asking
no.
Your mom.
You're right. You are.
And he did love to portray Indiana Jones. Yes, he did. So he did. He was very creative, and
Come on, Indiana Jones is pretty cool. So it was a real struggle
Yeah.
juggling those 2 sides.
Yeah, I can relate to that too. Yeah, I was very shy growing up, but
Well, I mean, not that I'm any expert, but I think many times some of these people that are comedians and whatever,
Have a dark side.
They do because they so want to please the public. They want to make them.
most comfortable. That's when he really flourishes, and
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's very wise.
Yes, it is.
I've never framed it that way before.
No, I think that's true. I think that's true. Mind you, sometimes when you're around people that are a little bit judgmental, it might happen more as you get older. You still act like your goofy self because you think.
The turning point for his self-confidence to kind of do a 180. He mentioned something about the newspaper job. That was his turning point.
11, got about halfway through grade 11, and then sort of stopped going. And then I love how I framed that. Sort of
No.
big woods, and so I'd like walk up the trail. The way I normally go to school is like walk up this trail.
Yeah, like it was quite a shock. It wasn't until the end of the year when we got his report card. School. Then you have to get a job. So he got a job with the newspaper as a reporter, and he really didn't care for it very.
Got there, and I spent like 20 minutes pacing around outside the business trying to psych myself up to go in and interview him.
Yeah.
It's neat how things kind of unfold in that way.
Yeah, it's so weird because I went and I pitched. This is when the internet was just getting started. I pitched doing a weekly column about the internet for the newspaper, and so that's how I started. Right?
Year.
Yeah, and I thought about it that way. I thought about like doing this, and that was nice.
Yeah, it's a big compliment.
Yeah.
Million things.
The one that I started or the one that I worked at?
I don't care.
Oh, thanks. You're so committed to your paper, and it became a more normal newspaper, functioning like a normal paper. And from there, I moved to another. And as I built the obituary for him, I realized then when will I ever? And I'd wanted to do sort of an arts and lifestyle sort of thing for a few years. This is my moment. I'm going to take this buyout. I'm going to go and start this arts and lifestyle magazine with Julie. And we did. And it was one of the coolest things I've done to sort of continue with it. And disappointing that when we ended up selling it, the person who bought it was like, because we kept putting pictures of them in. I remember we were at the Stampede Parade one year, and then went to Kamloops and got into content creation with TELUS, which is I can tell there's still like probably 10 minutes left.
You just wanted to make sure you got that in there.
We're
Yeah.
45 minutes in.
Only 45. Oh, okay.
Already 40.
Proudest moment.
Proudest moment?
Yes.
Oh my! I don't know. There were many proudest moments.
Pick the first one that comes to mind.
Kindergarten, but yeah, that was pretty exciting. Yeah.
How about you? Do you have like a not maybe the proudest moment, but a proud moment?
Well, I think when you
Express to you guys how grateful I am for the music lessons that I had, because it introduced me to music and gave me enough music knowledge that I was able to sort of, as somebody who I like to this day, I think it's great when, I think all people should know how to clumsily play at least one instrument. Like just to be able to, and they've not, you know, you can lead a horse to water and that sort of thing, right? You have to,
Yeah.
you have to want that. And thankfully I did, as much as I thought it would have been cooler to learn piano than learning how to play the organ. You wouldn't like, you'd have to squeeze them. You have to get the air to go through the vessels somehow and make it, maybe you have to blow through it.
Slap it.
Slapping the organ. Yep. But yeah, no, very grateful for the, because it's encouraged me to continue.
Sure.
Oh, look at him. He looks exactly the same.
But without the whiskers.
That's why I have the beard, so I don't look like I'm 10.
Look, how cute.
You're convinced.
I remember that name now,
you're
actually.
convinced.
Yeah.
There you are in your fancy vest.
Yeah.
And this one here. And that was Mrs. Collier.
Yeah, and then I had Mrs. Collier again the next year.
Yeah, you had Mrs. Collier again.
She was a really good teacher.
Yeah.
She brought out a lot of things in you.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
My only memory of her is that we had to years old.
You need to frame that.
It's pretty good, eh?
Wow.
And then that was
Oh, I spelled American wrong. I'm embarrassed.
Oh, that's a good cat.
Oh, that's our Murphy.
That's Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the kangaroo report.
Yeah.
Was that the year? I guess is that grade 5? Yeah, that's when I had. In grade 5, we had a the teacher swapped partway through the year. The
Like the show Wife Swap?
no, but yes.
He was already writing his stories here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What? Why? Oh, it's chapter 19.
And she's got super. Must have been a book report.
Oh, right. Yeah, the person who found me brought me to a hospital. I told him I was blind, and they called my parents. After many X-rays and tests, they found the nerve that had been damaged and could not be fixed. After that, we.
You
Yeah.
was either 12 and you were 11. And there is the archer.
Oh, that's
Todd.
the other thing I was going to mention about Cubs is I liked archery, and I think I was okay at it.
Yeah, you were.
Can be about to fire a.
See it.
Fire a.
Look
When
at this
we
cute
had-
dog he drew.
We
What a
had
cool little dog. Just joking, that's a cat.
Cub Camp, and then you're standing on the
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
pack. So he was there, standing there, cool.
The other thing I remember about Cub Scouts, now that you bring this up, is the car races.
Oh, yes.
And you were given the.
Win?
No, it never worked. It never worked. You always tried, but it never worked. I don't know how the cars won, but.
So what you had to do, you got a block of wood, and you had to carve out this car, and
Next round. And I think we were usually eliminated in the first or second rounds, but
Oh, not enough holes drilled.
not enough holes. No, that's how you draw a big A
Oh, I
in
guess
proper
that's true.
writing.
I guess that's true. Yeah, you're right.
It's because natural fault line, but
Looks good.
the relatively young city had not yet experienced earthquakes, but today that was going to change.
Yeah, you're so
Yeah.
smart. 40 out of 50 is bad. That would be a good mark for me.
And that's
It's all relative, Kelsey.
Yeah.
That's a fairly high B. I
Yeah.
think 73 is a B, so that would work
Yeah.
out to be an 80. I can't find, he wrote a number of really nice haikus that I have stored away.
I don't think they were haikus. I think they're like freeform poetry, but
Okay, sorry, I'm not too up in my poetry. It wasn't rhyming poetry, you know.
DC at the time to do like English 11 equivalency and like Math 11 equivalency before I could do the university courses. And in the English class, I wrote a long, what he's going to do to the victim and everything else. Anyway, the teacher didn't like the poem very much.
Yeah, it's dark.
Yeah. Well, sometimes life is dark.
Yeah, yeah.
well,
Story
And
high.
you-
They're kids in
Yeah,
junior
yeah.
high.
Yeah,
And I
I
had,
Yeah.
in the winter, I had a long black like overcoat, but it was because the school was there, and then like across the street and down the hill into the woods is where like we all hung out and smoked our cigarettes.
Sure.
Well, I think I've openly told them
Yeah.
like they're both well aware that I've gotten into
Marijuana.
Yeah.
the cannabis since it's become legal.
Because he started to say, you know, Mom, one time, that, you know, you didn't know. And I say, no, I didn't. I don't want to
And I
know
don't
now.
wanna know now.
That's right.
Well, but
About the times when you were bad. And then he'd be like, maybe I won't.
Yeah, I don't think it'll
Yeah.
work for Todd.
Try- he
No,
tried
because
really-
again, it's like I like talking about myself.
Oh
You
my.
better think of an answer, Dad.
My favorite thing about him, he's very open. You know, he's open to learning things, way more open, I think, than I am. Sometimes I might be a little closed-minded, but I think those are the things I'm most proud of him.
And I guess respect you for that. And I guess that's about it for me.
Fair enough. And obviously,
That little boy, he's just
This
gonna
sweet, quiet little
behave
loser.
himself all of his life and just, boy, were we
yeah.
wrong.
Eventually, I decided that was boring.
Yeah.
Oh, she wasn't done. Sorry. There's a butt coming.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
You.
Oh, wait. You were 6 pounds when you were born. How much do you weigh now, Todd?
Oh, that's a mean.
That is a mean question. Last time I checked, I'm playing a lot of Beat Saber, guys. It's a good workout.
Good. And I would just like to thank Kelsey and Todd for making this easy because I wasn't going to do it to begin with.
Invested back than it is just like we're just having a chat and there happens to be a camera nearby.
Yeah,
So
you forget it's there. You forget it's there.
again, I think
Very impressed that we were asked to do this.
right.
Absolutely.